The macaques are a group of primates within the genus Macaca, native to Asia, North Africa, and Gibraltar. Their history in Europe is both ancient and modern, with the most well-known population being the Barbary macaques, Macaca sylvanus of Gibraltar. Ancient history fossil evidence indicates that macaques, specifically Barbary macaques, once had a broader range that included parts of Europe. During the Pleistocene epoch, approximately 1.8 million to 11,700 years ago, these macaques inhabited parts of southern Europe, including areas of what is now Spain and France. They lived in these regions during warmer interglacial periods when the climate was more suitable for their survival. Gibraltar population. The only existing wild population of macaques in Europe today is found in Gibraltar, a British overseas territory located on the southern coast of Spain. These are Barbary macaques, the same species that was more widespread in Europe during the Pleistocene. The exact origins of the Gibraltar macaques are somewhat unclear, but they are believed to have been brought to Gibraltar by the Moors, or earlier during the Roman or Phoenician periods. The population of Barbary macaques in Gibraltar has been a significant presence for centuries. By the 18th century, the macaques were already a well-known feature of the Rock of Gibraltar. Their continued existence on Gibraltar is closely tied to British colonial rule, as the British took an interest in maintaining the population. According to legend, the British would hold Gibraltar as long as the macaques remained on the rock, which led to efforts to sustain their numbers. During World War II, when the population dwindled to just a few individuals, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill ordered the importation of additional macaques from North Africa to ensure the population's survival, conservation and current status. Today, the Barbary macaques of Gibraltar are protected and are a key tourist attraction. They are considered a symbol of Gibraltar, and their presence is carefully managed by local authorities. The population, which numbers around 300 individuals, is the only free-living group of primates in Europe outside of humans. Rewilding Barbary macaques in Europe is an intriguing concept, especially given their historical presence on the continent during the Pleistocene. However, reintroducing them into modern European ecosystems would involve significant ecological, ethical, and logistical considerations. Potential benefits of rewilding. Biodiversity enhancement. Reintroducing Barbary macaques could help restore ecological balance in regions where they once lived. As omnivores, they could influence the vegetation structure and contribute to seed dispersal, potentially benefiting plant diversity. Ecotourism and education. Like the macaques in Gibraltar, reintroduced populations could become a significant attraction, promoting ecotourism. This could raise awareness of conservation issues and support local economies. Cultural and historical significance. Rewilding could reconnect European landscapes with their natural and cultural heritage. The presence of macaques in Europe could serve as a living link to the continent's prehistoric past. Challenges and considerations. Habitat suitability. Identifying suitable habitats is crucial. The reintroduction sites would need to provide appropriate food sources, shelter, and space for the macaques to thrive. Southern European regions with Mediterranean climates might be most suitable, but these areas have undergone significant changes since the Pleistocene, including urbanization and agriculture. Human-wildlife conflict. Barbary macaques are intelligent and adaptable, but this can lead to conflicts with humans, especially in agricultural areas. In Gibraltar, macaques are known to raid garbage bins and homes. Any rewilding effort would need to address potential conflicts with local populations, including farmers. Disease and health. Introducing macaques to new environments could raise concerns about the spread of diseases, both to and from the macaques. Ensuring the health of both the macaques and local wildlife would be essential. Genetic considerations. The reintroduced population would need to be genetically diverse to ensure long-term viability. This might require sourcing individuals from both captive populations and wild populations in North Africa, which would involve careful management to avoid inbreeding and ensure adaptability. Legal and ethical issues. Rewilding projects are complex and require navigating legal frameworks regarding wildlife protection, land use, and animal rights. Public support and stakeholder engagement are also critical. Conservation priorities. Some conservationists might argue that resources would be better spent on protecting the remaining wild populations of Barbary macaques in North Africa, where they face significant threats, including habitat loss and illegal pet trade. Steps for rewilding feasibility studies. Conduct thorough ecological, social, and economic studies to identify suitable reintroduction sites and assess potential impacts. Pilot projects. Start with small, controlled reintroductions in areas with minimal human activity and high habitat suitability. Monitor these populations closely to gather data on their behavior, health, and ecological impact. Work with local communities to address concerns, provide education, and involve them in the conservation process. Ensuring that local people benefit from the presence of macaques, for example through ecotourism, is essential. Establish long-term monitoring programs to track the progress of reintroduced populations. Be prepared to adapt management strategies based on the data collected. Rewilding Barbary macaques in Europe could contribute to biodiversity restoration and cultural heritage, but it requires careful planning and consideration of the challenges involved. By taking a measured, scientific approach and engaging with local communities, it may be possible to successfully reintroduce these primates to parts of their former range in Europe. Rewilding Barbary macaques in both Western and Eastern Europe would be an ambitious conservation effort that would require careful planning, consideration of ecological dynamics, and addressing potential challenges. Below is an overview of what rewilding these primates in different parts of Europe might entail. Habitat selection, Western Europe. Countries like Spain, Portugal, France, and Italy offer a variety of potential habitats for Barbary macaques. Mediterranean forests, scrublands, and mountainous regions could provide suitable environments similar to their native habitats in North Africa. For example, the Iberian Peninsula, with its diverse landscapes and warmer climates, might be especially suitable for rewilding efforts. Eastern Europe. In Eastern Europe, suitable habitats might include the Carpathian Mountains, the Balkans, and some parts of the Caucasus. These areas offer a mix of forested regions and mountainous terrain, which could provide refuge and resources for the macaques. The cooler climates and harsher winters, however, might require the macaques to adapt or be selectively introduced to areas with milder conditions. Human interaction. In Western Europe, especially in more densely populated areas, human-wildlife interactions would need to be managed carefully to avoid conflicts. Public education and engagement would be important to foster coexistence. In Eastern Europe, where human populations might be less dense in rural and mountainous areas, there could be more space for rewilding, but similar efforts in community engagement would be necessary. Climate and adaptation. Western Europe. The climate in Western Europe is generally more temperate, which could be more favorable for Barbary macaques, especially in Mediterranean regions. Seasonal variations are less extreme, making it easier for macaques to adapt. Eastern Europe. The climate in Eastern Europe, particularly in the northern and mountainous regions, can be more challenging with colder winters and more significant seasonal changes. Macaques would need to adapt to these conditions, perhaps by selecting suitable microhabitats or changing their behavior seasonally. Conservation benefits biodiversity. Reintroducing Barbary macaques could enhance local biodiversity and restore some of the ecological functions they perform in their native habitats, such as seed dispersal and contributing to forest dynamics. Cultural and ecotourism opportunities. In both Western and Eastern Europe, rewilding Barbary macaques could create opportunities for ecotourism, raising awareness about conservation and generating economic benefits for local communities. 1. Challenges: genetic diversity. Ensuring a genetically diverse population would be crucial for the long-term success of rewilding efforts. This might require careful selection of founder individuals and potential collaboration with North African conservation programs. Disease. Introducing a species into a new environment always carries the risk of disease transmission, both to the macaques and from them to local wildlife. Strict veterinary protocols would be necessary to mitigate these risks. Legal and ethical issues. Rewilding efforts would need to navigate complex legal and ethical landscapes, particularly regarding species protection, land use, and potential impacts on local ecosystems. 1. Potential rewilding locations: Western Europe, Iberian Peninsula, Spain, Portugal. Mediterranean woodlands and mountainous regions could be ideal. Southern France and Italy. Similar Mediterranean climates with protected areas like national parks could be suitable. Eastern Europe, Carpathian Mountains, Romania, Ukraine, Slovakia. Forested and mountainous areas with existing conservation efforts. Balkan Peninsula, Bulgaria, Greece. Varied terrain with potential habitat, though human population density and land use would need to be considered. Rewilding Barbary macaques in Western and Eastern Europe is a complex but potentially rewarding endeavor. It could help restore ecological balance, enhance biodiversity, and create new opportunities for conservation and education. However, success would require careful planning, monitoring, and community involvement to address ecological, climatic, and socio-economic challenges. If Barbary macaques were reintroduced into European environments where they might interact with various herbivores, small mammals, and small mammal predators, the interactions would vary based on species behavior, resource competition, and habitat use. Here's an overview of how these interactions might play out. Deer, red deer, roe deer, etc. Barbary macaques and deer would likely share the same habitats, such as forests and meadows. Macaques might forage on the same plants as deer, particularly fruits, nuts, and leaves. However, macaques' ability to climb and forage in trees would reduce direct competition for food. The presence of deer could help maintain open areas and trails in the forest, benefiting macaques by providing easier access to different parts of their habitat. Macaques might also benefit from following deer herds to locate new food sources. Wild boar, Sus scrofa. Wild boars are opportunistic feeders, rooting through the soil for food, which could expose insects, roots, and tubers that macaques might also eat. Both species might forage in similar areas, particularly in forests. Wild boars' foraging behavior could benefit macaques by turning over soil and exposing hidden food resources. Additionally, the presence of boars could create more diverse microhabitats, supporting a wider variety of food plants and insects that macaques could exploit. European bison. European bison are large herbivores that graze on grasses and shrubs. They tend to create open spaces in forest by feeding on vegetation, which could provide macaques with easier access to ground-level food sources. The bison's grazing habits could maintain open woodland areas and create new growth of vegetation that macaques might utilize for food. These open spaces could also be useful for macaques as social areas or as places to watch for predators. Wild horses. Wild horses are grazers, primarily feeding on grasses. They would create and maintain grasslands and open forest areas which might attract macaques looking for food or social interaction. By maintaining open landscapes, wild horses could benefit macaques by providing clear areas for movement and access to sunlight, which might be important for the growth of food plants like fruiting bushes. The presence of horses could also create more diverse plant communities, offering a wider range of food options for macaques. Small mammals, herbivores like rabbits, hares, macaques, might encounter small herbivorous mammals like rabbits and hares while foraging. Although there would be minimal direct interaction, both species could influence the availability of certain plants in their shared habitats. Small herbivores might help disperse seeds and promote plant growth, indirectly benefiting macaques by ensuring a diverse and abundant food supply. Additionally, the presence of small mammals could attract predators that also keep other populations in check, maintaining a balanced ecosystem. Small mammal predators, weasels, martins, common genet. These small carnivores prey on rodents, birds, and insects, which are also part of the macaque's diet. While macaques are too large to be prey for these predators, there could be competition for small prey items like insects and small mammals. By controlling populations of rodents and other small mammals, these predators could help maintain a balanced ecosystem, preventing overgrazing or overpopulation that might otherwise affect plant growth. This would indirectly benefit macaques by ensuring a stable food supply and healthy habitat. Birds, various species. Macaques and birds would share the same forest habitats. Both might forage for fruits, insects, and seeds, and macaques might also raid bird nests for eggs or young birds. In some cases, macaques might benefit from following birds to food sources, such as fruiting trees. Birds play a crucial role in seed dispersal and pollination, which would support the growth of plants that macaques feed on. Additionally, bird calls and behavior could act as an early warning system for macaques, alerting them to the presence of predators or other dangers. General ecological benefits of rewilding Barbary macaques. Seed dispersal. Macaques are excellent seed dispersers, particularly of fruit trees and bushes. Their movements through the forest and feeding behavior would help spread seeds, promoting forest regeneration and plant diversity. Habitat creation. By interacting with other species like deer, wild boar and bison, macaques would contribute to the creation and maintenance of varied habitats, including open areas, woodlands and dense forests. Insect control. Macaques feed on insects, which could help control insect populations that might otherwise become pests. This would benefit the overall health of the ecosystem. Ecosystem balance. The presence of Barbary macaques would add another layer of complexity to the ecosystem, helping to maintain a balanced food web and promoting biodiversity. Reintroducing Barbary macaques to Europe could lead to beneficial interactions with various herbivores, small mammals, predators and birds, contributing to a healthier, more diverse ecosystem. These interactions would help support the long-term success of rewilding efforts, benefiting both the macaques and the broader environment. But if Barbary macaques were reintroduced to parts of Europe where they might interact with native wildlife, their interactions with predators and other species like wolves, red foxes, brown bears, golden jackals, Iberian lynx, Eurasian lynx, lynx, and golden eagles would be complex and varied. Here's an overview of how these interactions might unfold. Wolves. Wolves are apex predators and could pose a significant threat to Barbary macaques, particularly young or injured individuals. Wolves are pack hunters and could potentially target macaques if other prey is scarce or if macaques venture too close to wolf territory. Macaques would likely develop strategies to avoid wolves, such as staying in trees, remaining in large groups, or being vigilant about detecting wolves' presence. Social behaviors like vocalizations would help alert the group to nearby wolves. Red foxes. Red foxes are generally too small to pose a significant threat to adult Barbary macaques. They might prey on very young macaques if they are isolated from their group, but are more likely to scavenge than actively hunt large prey. Both species might compete for similar food resources such as fruits, small mammals or insects, but this competition would likely be minimal due to the diverse diet of macaques. Brown bears. Brown bears are omnivores and might pose a threat to macaques if they encounter them while foraging for food. Bears are more likely to scavenge on macaque kills made by other predators or to chase macaques away from food sources. Macaques would likely avoid areas known to be frequented by brown bears. Their agility and ability to climb trees would give them some protection against bears, which are less adept at climbing. Golden jackals. Golden jackals are opportunistic predators and could target young or vulnerable macaques. While less of a threat than wolves, jackals might still pose a danger, particularly to isolated individuals or small groups. Jackals might scavenge food left behind by macaques or follow macaque groups to scavenge after them. This could lead to some competition, though direct conflict would likely be rare. Iberian lynx. The Iberian lynx is a specialized predator, primarily hunting rabbits, so it poses less of a threat to Barbary macaques. However, in areas with scarce prey, a lynx might opportunistically hunt a macaque, particularly if it is a juvenile or weakened. Macaques would likely avoid dense brush or areas where lynxes are known to hunt, opting for more open or arboreal habitats where they can better detect and avoid lynx. Eurasian lynx. The Eurasian lynx is larger and more powerful than the Iberian lynx and could be a significant predator of Barbary macaques, especially in forested areas. Young macaques would be particularly vulnerable. Macaques would need to be vigilant in areas where Eurasian lynxes are present, likely staying in trees or open areas to reduce the risk of ambush by these stealthy predators. Golden eagles. Golden eagles are capable of preying on young or small macaques, especially if they are isolated from their group. Eagles have been known to take down prey as large as young deer, so small macaques would be within their prey range. Macaques would need to be vigilant against aerial threats. Group living provides some protection as macaques can alert each other to the presence of an eagle. They might also use trees and dense foliage as cover from aerial predators. White-tailed eagles. White-tailed eagles, like golden eagles, could pose a threat to young macaques. While they primarily prey on fish and birds, they are opportunistic and might target macaques if the opportunity arises. The presence of white-tailed eagles would likely elicit similar defensive behaviors as with golden eagles, including increased vigilance and staying near cover or in trees. Group-living Barbary macaques' social structure would be a key defense mechanism against many of these predators. Living in groups allows them to detect predators early, warn each other, and defend themselves collectively if necessary. Habitat selection. The macaques' choice of habitat would significantly impact their interactions with these predators. In forested or mountainous areas with plenty of trees, macaques would have better opportunities to escape from ground predators and avoid ambushes. Adaptability. Barbary macaques are intelligent and adaptable animals, likely to modify their behaviors based on the presence of these predators. This could include changes in foraging patterns, habitat use, and group dynamics. Reintroducing Barbary macaques into areas with these predators would create a complex web of interactions. The macaques would need to navigate the risks posed by both terrestrial and aerial predators while competing with smaller carnivores like red foxes and jackals. Their social structure, adaptability, and habitat choice would be crucial to their survival in such an environment. Reintroducing Barbary macaques to Europe's wild landscapes is more than just an ecological experiment. It's a chance to restore a piece of our natural heritage and to see how these intelligent social creatures can once again thrive in their ancestral lands. As we consider the future of rewilding, we must remember the delicate balance between wildlife and the environment. Every species plays a role, and together they create the harmony that sustains life. The journey of rewilding is a shared one, between humans and nature, past and present, science and hope. Your voice matters in the conversation about conservation. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who care about our planet's future.